Yeah,
Here we go. On 3, 2, 1. We are speaking with former Heavy Pettin drummer and current singer in Burnt Out Wreck. It is the one, the only Gary Moat. Bonjour, monsieur, as we say in Montreal. How are you?
I am good, thanks. Yeah, how are you?
Good, good. And, well, listen, your album is named This Is Hell. And it's sort of what we're
Yeah.
going through right now with the computer connection. But talk to me just real quick about moving from behind the kit to in front of the mic. Was that an easy transition, or had you always wanted to be a singer?
No, I never wanted to be a singer, that's just a vicious rumor. But yeah. you know, I was always a songwriter. Myself and Gordon and Heavy Pettin were always from a very early age, 13 when we were at primary school. We met at the end of primary school going into secondary school. So I mean, you know, it wasn't to be a singer. I was the drummer in Heavy Pen. I was very happy with that, and would still be if we'd have kept going and the band had got bigger as we should have done, But so getting out and getting on the mic, yeah, it was daunting. Let's just say that. You can hide behind your drums and your cymbals, but you can't hide in front of a microphone.
Yeah,
Behind
so
a microphone.
no, you can't because so when you're out there in front of the mic, talk to me about sort of the being the frontman kind of thing. Or do you take from the school of Alice Cooper and David Bowie and give them a flashy show, or are you more of the sit back in the pocket kind of singer?
Um, there's no flashy show, as it were, but it's just full on energy rock and roll, very much obviously in an AC/DC vein, straight ahead, no nonsense. So, yeah, I like to get up there and scream my head off, as it were, and I just have taken to it. So I enjoy it, and we're getting good feedback on it. So it just makes you happy, smiling behind your eyes there.
It really does. Talk to me about putting together a new band because obviously Heavy Petting was 40 years ago. How do you assemble this one? Do you sort of think back and say, okay, we're going to make another hard rock band and we're going to play some of the old songs, or do you look forward and just say, nope, it's going to be all new, new sound, new everything? Talk to me about putting together Burnt Out Wreck because it's been what 5 years now, 2016.
2016,
Yeah,
Swallow went in and recorded Swallow, the first album.
yeah.
But like half the songs on Swallow were actually written way back in '91. When myself and Gordon put a band together called Mother's Ruin, which was on and off over the years. And 2016, I thought, well, I'm going to go in and record these songs because I just want people to hear the songs and see what comes out at the end of the day. So yeah, that's what happened. And we went, and after I recorded the album, we had to find a live band, which was as you say, how do you put a band together, So yeah, just put the feelers out, found some players, and every one of them's great, and yeah, we just get out there and give it a large.
Now, recently, Heavy Pettin put out a best of, and of course, the fine folks at Louder Sound had an opinion on that. But was that something that you were involved with, or is that something that just sort of shows up and you go, "Hey, you might have wanted to call me"?
Yeah, I think that like what you're saying there, Heavy Pettin put out. Heavy Pettin didn't put out. No band puts out a best of, or no band does anything like that if they're not. It's whoever has the license, puts it out. Way back in the early 2000s, it was a company called Majestic Rock that got the licenses for the Heavy Pettin stuff, and they put it out. But all the money just went goodbye. It didn't come anywhere near Heavy Pettin, or the original record company for that matter. So getting the licenses back was purely and simply Claire, my wife and manager's gig, really. It's got nothing to do with me. I'm just one of the 5 original guys from the band, and yeah, but hopefully we can, if we make any money, it'll come back and it'll go back to where it should be going instead of being, just stolen for all these years. So yeah, it's actually Burnt Out Records that's put out the Heavy Pettin best of album, not Heavy Pettin.
Not Heavy Pettin, not the band. So let me ask you about this band, because here in Canada we had a band called, or have a band called Anvil, and they started off and they were opening up for people like Aerosmith, and they had all kinds of great heat going, and then it sort of fell apart, and then they made this movie, this documentary, which perhaps you've seen, which was terrific, and it sort of put them back on the map. And for me, I draw some comparisons to your story, because you had it all. You were the next Def Leppard, you were the next this and that, then it falls apart. Any chance that you might consider making a documentary style movie and get back with all the guys? I mean, whether you like them or not, and just sort of say, hey, come on, we've got a funny story here. Or, I mean, a sad story. What, is it a sad story or a funny story? What kind of story is it, by the way?
It's all of that, all of that and more, like every band in the world that got, up to a certain level and then got it all pulled away from them. It's just, it's the same old song and dance, Bon Scott, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. The lyrics to Everybody's Life is in that song. It's just crazy. But yeah, I mean, people have asked, a lot of people, because Claire's got the Heavy Pettin album back catalogue, a lot of people assume that Claire is actually involved with Heavy Pettin in a day-to-day, which obviously isn't the case. It's she's Burnt Out Rigs manager, and that's that. So people do come through and say, would you be interested in doing these kind of things? But at the moment, no, I'm in Burnt Out Rec. I just say, not just now, and yeah, I don't, it could happen very easily. None of us hate each other. We don't hate each other.
Right.
I've not seen Brian, the bass player, for a couple of years when we played up in Glasgow, Burnt Out Rec, and he came to see us. And right. I've not seen Punky for many years, and I've seen Hammy in Gordon in 2019. They were playing at the same festival as Hard Rock Hell Festival as I was with Burnt Out Rec, and I spoke to Hammy there for about 20 minutes or so, and that's the first time I'd seen him since 1989, 1990, something like that.
Let me ask you about the story, and I know you've gone over the story a million times, but ultimately, did it come down to a management failure, a band failure, or did somebody at the record company play politics and go, oh yeah, watch this, no support, see what happened? I mean, what's sort of the real story on why you are not Def Leppard and not on a stadium tour this year? Because you had the talent, we know that.
Yeah, I mean, that's right, and at the time, it was, for the minute we got signed, we were, everything started going downhill. You get from your A&R man who's changing his job in 6 months' time. Okay, so he goes, who are you left with? A new guy, he's getting you. He don't like you. He didn't sign you. So right away you start getting that kind of thing going on. So like you say, there is loads of inner politics goes on, and management. Yeah, we went through 2 managers. First manager was yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: what was the sound too crafted for the American market, and therefore the European market went, it's too slick for us? Because it did have a very sort of MTV sound, MTV slick sound to it, which as a Canadian who's basically a de facto American, I love. Whereas I know sometimes in Europe they go, they sold out, fuck them.
Yeah, but no. The first album is totally twin guitar heaven, and it's just marvelous,
Yep,
that was us coming, that was us doing what we did best and what we we grew up to try to become that band, and that is the very band. Moving on, yeah, obviously, like you say, there's Def Leppard influences right across the pond. Everybody, as soon as Def Leppard got Mutt Lang and that drum sound and the big guitars, and yeah, all the record companies just seen the dollar pound signs and said, we'll have some of that. Right now,
Right.
you want to be sounding a bit like this, you want to be this, and every band got it. I spoke to many people who have said the exact same thing. And
By the way, when
yeah,
you
you can
heard
see
those
that.
drum sounds as a drummer, were you like, ooh, got to get me some of that? Or is it too
Well,
slick?
yeah, no, it's not for me. I thought it was great. I mean, I even loved the High and Dry album. That was a bigger and still a natural drum sound, as it were. Maybe they've added a couple of things underneath it, but
Still their
it wasn't.
best
It
album.
wasn't. Yeah, but it wasn't Pyromania or something, was it? It wasn't up there.
I would take
The full,
another hit
the
and
full
run over
machinery,
anything on Pyromania any day. So
yeah. So yeah, it was good, but it's funny. I was just talking about a Fairlight last night with my wife, just saying what a nightmare machine it was, to go and program that for Rock Ain't Dead. I had to sit with the guy, and it was just like, whew, it took ages. It was a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah.
No good.
Yeah.
No good.
Oh, I'll tell you, but that drum sound is so good. Let me get over to the Limestone Brewery, and you collaborated on a new beer. Talk to me about that on the sense of also, is it good tasting beer, but going outside of just the music and coming up with other product for fans, and is that something you want to be? Are you going to be a vintner at some point? Are you going to be selling wine to the folks?
I drink it all.
Yeah. You'll be like what's that? Y&T there, Dave Manichetti. He's a vintner.
Yeah, I know. We Burnt Out Reg supported Y&T a couple of gigs over here a couple of years ago. Funny you said that about Anvil. We supported them as well. So
that must have been a party.
I've seen their movie.
They're fun. They're fun guys.
Aye, fun.
But talk to me about the beer. Is it
brilliant? Anyway, so the Limestone Brewery, yeah, of course. I mean, no, it wasn't our idea. I mean, the band's called Burnt Out Wreck. It's got a cracking logo. The album cover just looks great. And these alcohol companies just said, well, wait a minute, would you be interested in that becoming like on a bottle of beer, a bottle of ale? So, yeah, I mean, it's a 7% ale, and it's just absolutely wonderful, I know that it's some people in Canada have actually ordered it and they've got it already. There's people around the world that've got it, and they're doing good with it up there in Staffordshire, sending it out.
Amazing.
We also have a cider from a company called the Gwacken Cider Company in Herefordshire, and they at the same time came out and done the same thing. So we have a cider and we have an ale, and Limestone also put out a beer spirit which is 42%. I have sampled a bottle of it, and it didn't last the weekend. It's just marvelous. So read into that what you wish.
I'm actually here. I'm trying to find it. It's limestonebrewery.co.uk and drinkaware. What's drinkaware?
Yeah, just be responsible.
Okay. But Limestone Brewery is where folks need to go to get the beer.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in terms of selling it to Canadians and others, how do you manage to do that? Because I know here in Canada, if I buy booze in Quebec and I try to drive it to Ontario, they literally pull you over and go, you can't transport alcohol over the border. So how do you actually mail it in?
Can't be doing that. It's not us. It's that company. We just have the name, and so I don't deal with any of that, and I wouldn't be able to tell you where that started. But they do it. I've seen people send us pictures from all over the world with holding a bottle of it.
That's terrific.
Cool.
Now, This Is Hell came out at the end of 2020. You can't tour, but if you could tour with the whole Brexit thing, how difficult has it become to be a band in the UK?
Yeah, late 2019, This Is Hell come out. We managed to get some gigs in, and up until February 2020. And yeah, it was just a bit of obviously, it's a nightmare for the whole industry, you know. But I don't know what it's going to be like. Everybody's worried about trying to get into Europe and stuff, you know, obviously, with the Brexit thing. So we've not even looked at it. You know, it's dealing with your everyday life at the moment's bad enough with COVID, isn't it? Sat around doing nothing. You know, so yeah, I'm not thinking about that yet. And all the gigs keep getting put further and further away until next year, you know. But thankfully, we're still being considered to play at the festivals that we were booked for last year and then this year again. So cool.
So what do you do then as a band? Do you just say, okay, well, let's just go back in and make another record? Do you just wait it out, or at some point do you say, forget this and just disband? What are sort of the options, and which ones do you plan on exploring?
Yeah, well, you know, the band is still together. We talk to each other online, obviously, or on the phone, but I want to get a third album, yeah, together, definitely, most definitely, and I'm in the process of doing it just now, because obviously I'm writing all the stuff and then I'm give it to the band and then they can learn it and make it, add their little selves to it, as it were, their take on it, and as long as it's not straying off into orbit somewhere, uh, and then keep within the parameters, please. But anyway, you know, so yeah, that's the plan. Is just I'll finish these songs, and hopefully we will be able to somehow, with this the restrictions and stuff. Hopefully
You'll get back
lift
out
it,
there.
or
It's such
give
a
me a jab or something, you know.
it's such a
Anything to get out.
it's such a pain. In terms of you in the band, obviously you're the singer, but do you want to get back behind the drums and perhaps sing and drum, or perhaps just record all the albums as the drummer, or yeah, how do you want to sort of see that?
No, you know, my drummer is a guy called Paul Gray. He's a drum teacher, uh, just awesome drummer.
Yep.
He played on This Is Hell, you know, and he was great. You know, he just
But do you ever
nailed it,
look at
like,
him
you
and
know,
go,
and
"That's not how I would have done it"?
great. Oh no, we do. Some of it is, some of it isn't. You know, it's like you've got to sit and get it together. You know, but no, I've actually enjoyed the experience of having him around, actually, because he's it's just good to see his take on it. You know, I'll be saying, okay, this is it, and then he'll do something. I'll go, all right, Christ, go with that. Okay, go with that. That's great. You know, something I just haven't thought about. You know, so that's it. And the same with the rest of the band. Alex Carmichael, bass player. Just he lived up in Scotland. I live in England. He's about 3.5 to 4 hours away from us or something. You know, it's like, you know, oh no, crazy.
Crazy times. And then I'll finish on the heavy Pettin thing. Do you see yourself before it's all said and done, just doing one more show or a run of shows and just put a sort of a point final, as we say on it, you know, an exclamation point on it, and say, "Listen, been there, done that. Let's complete that circle."
What playing in heavy pen?
Yeah, would you consider in the next couple of years to do a few more shows and just say, "Let's just finish this as we started this"?
I think that Mick, the drummer, wouldn't be too chuffed at that.
Too bad. Throw him out.
Get it? No, Mick's a good guy. He's doing a good job in there, you know. He played half the Swallow album for Burnt Out Wreck, you know, so he was the Mother's Ruin drummer for years, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, see, I don't like that idea, you know, like just get rid of the bass player and the drummer, and me and Bino step back in again, you know, and Davey, the new guitar player as well, you know. I mean, we've known Davey for donkey's years, you know, and he's in and doing what he's doing, you know. But no, there will never be a reunion. at all. Not of the
Oh,
5 original guys.
oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. Oh well. Anyway, Burnt Out Wreck. This is hell available now, and of course the alcohol is available, and you can order it up online. And as we
Yeah,
say in Montreal, merci, sir. Great pleasure. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we got through it, and it's been great.
no problem. Yeah, thanks very much, Mitch. Yeah.
Absolutely, and we'll do this again soon.
Yes, and take care, and take care, everyone out there. Please look after yourselves. And if you can ever get to see us, if we ever come to Canada, which would just be mind blowing for me, but come and see us. It's rock and roll, man. It's just rock and roll.
It would be terrific, and Montreal loves its rock, so come on down.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. À la prochaine. Cheers.
Thank you.